the TechSpce podcast. Are we going to start calling this the TechCast, or what are we going to do?
I like that, TechCast. That sounds good.
This is the TechCast. Capital T, capital C.
Let's just I know this is going to totally infringe on, some sort of copyright, but we should call it Space Ghost Coast to Coast. Because it's just got a nice ring to it.
Coast to Coast. We cannot do that.
And that doesn't make any sense.
That too. That wasn't. I guess that's not my main argument, but yes.
Space.
Just stop, Lucas. Yeah, I'm going to include that in the podcast. So let's get started. I'm Jake Enster, editor-in-chief of TechSpce.com.
I'm Alec. I'm a senior mobile editor at TechSpce.com.
I'm Lucas Holloway. I'm a senior editor at TechSpce.com.
Okay, let's get started. We got a couple weeks to wrap up. This is our first attempt at a video cast, so we can even call it the TechCast show. I don't know. It's going to be interesting and fun for all of you wonderful viewers.
We'll figure it out.
The Space Show.
There we go.
No, I just want to say I'm luckier than anyone who will end up watching this because I don't have to see Lucas's face right now.
Oh yeah, is he still blocked out on you?
Oh yeah, I just have a little icon. I can't see him. I don't know what's up.
Good. Well, I hope. Oh, he's doing some fun head bobs. You're missing out. Anyway.
Oh, dang it.
So let's start out with
jelly.
Let's start out with some kind of new news with Office 2013. I don't know if any of you have played around with it. I downloaded it last night and been messing around with it, and so far, it's really nice. Finally, you can hide the ribbon, which has been my favorite part of it, just being able to get rid of that because it makes it look a lot cleaner. And they actually added this cursor feature that, in Word, when you're typing, it doesn't jump along. It's as you type, it's just a smooth scroll. And it's really not a big change, but it's nice to look at. And it's a nice change rather than that sharp, jagged switch between letter to letter as you're typing. But anyway, the release preview for Office 2013 went live yesterday, and they made an announcement, and you can download the whole suite of Office applications, ranging from, I think the total count is Word, PowerPoint, Publisher, Outlook, Excel, OneNote, and Access. And their whole, it's the full featured suite, and in my testing, it's pretty much the same as Office 2010 for PC, and 2011 for Mac?
Yeah.
I don't see much difference aside from just a few aesthetics here and there, and it just looks a lot. There's less shimmer to it. It's very, very Metro-y, like the whole Windows 8 operating system is.
Very flat, very Metro. I haven't toyed around with it because Lucas and I both have MacBooks, and neither of us have boot camp partitions. And my main reason is because of the Steam Summer Sale, but we'll get into that later. So I don't have the space for it right now, but it looks nicer. I like the thing about being able to hide ribbon and being able to go full screen it, or just make it the biggest window you can make it, because distraction-free typing I think it's a really nice thing. That's how I do. I use Ohm Writer on my MacBook whenever I type any paper. So.
Yeah, it's really nice in practice from what I've used so far. I still like Google Docs a little bit better. I haven't tried out any of the whole SkyDrive functionality yet, but I'm planning on throwing it on my other. I have a little Ultrabook, kind of. It's an old Ultrabook that I'm going to throw it on and just see how the whole SkyDrive features work on it. But overall, it's a much appreciated improvement. And I think this is the first time, correct me if I'm wrong or research it and look it up and tell me I'm wrong, but isn't this the first time that they've actually done a full public preview of Office? It hasn't been like a big...
I'm pretty confident they've never, this is the first time they've ever done that.
Yeah, which is kind of going along their track with Windows in general. The fact that it's been available for public download since the first developers preview back in October.
Yeah, I think Microsoft's taking a much more open stance to their development, and it started with Windows 7, the beta that was open to pretty much anyone and everyone to help let more people try out the operating system. I think it's even more important with Windows 8 being that they're changing, I don't want to say everything, but they're changing everything. There's a lot of very big changes coming with Windows 8, so it's not a bad idea to let the public get their hands on it. And I think another thing I just remember right now, speaking on Windows 8, is that I was really shocked to find out that Windows XP would be upgradable. I mean, you don't keep all of your settings, obviously, but it is upgradable, which I thought was really, really cool. So people who are rocking XP, those diehards who don't know what Internet Explorer 9 even is, maybe they can get a chance.
My dad.
No, go ahead, Lucas.
Oh no, that's just my dad is one of those dudes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying, Alec, with my post I just put up last night. Basically saying, can Windows 8 save old hardware? I don't know if you guys have read it yet, but my overall conclusion was, at the end, it was basically it can if you've got old or underpowered hardware. But, it's nice to see, like, what the PC I'm actually using right now to do this podcast. It's that Lenovo I was discussing in the article, and it's not powerful at all. Like, I tried to do some casual gaming on it, and it was just awful. But I mean, for what it's worth, it works, and Windows 8 works on it. It's not like it doesn't bog it down, especially like from the jump from XP to Vista, because everyone's saying Windows 8 is going to be the Vista of Windows 9, basically. And
yeah, if you look at Windows's history, that seems to be the every other release.
It's kind of a tank, but
good, bad, yeah.
I think this is going to be their first triumph. I like it.
I think so too. Although I just want to throw this out. My econ professor claims that she's already running Windows 9, or she offhandedly said that she was during class last week. So I want to know who she knows. Get a hold of them. See if I can be as cutting edge as she is.
Did you correct her?
They're skipping 8.
I was so tempted to, but I just couldn't bring myself to because I was sitting in like the back of the room just chuckling under my breath about it.
We're actually on 10.
Oh yeah, of course. One last thing about Office 2013, which I'm extremely happy they're finally doing. XP and Vista are not getting Office 13. I think that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
It's XP and Vista are not going to be upgradable to Office 2013, which is huge. It's awesome because finally it's going to get people, like, the thing I think of is if you're not going to be upgrading your PC, why are you upgrading Office? I mean, that's kind of my take on it, and I'm glad they're doing it. It's about time.
I just one last thing that I just think about on Windows 8 is, and I don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure, but if I remember right, the upgrade price for Windows 8 is only going to be like $30 or $40.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think it's 29 from 7, and also from the RTM that's going to drop in the first week of August.
Yeah.
Which is cool that they're going to say, hey, we're going to let you upgrade from the RTM, direct upgrade, which is nice. I'm sure this applies to you very much, Lucas, with your MacBook over there. Which actually we can.
Yeah.
This is a good jumping off point to your whole what you wanted to discuss with laptops. We can throw that in right now. I don't see why not.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I just so happen to be not quite in the market for a new computer, but I've got my eyes out. I've been saving up my pennies because I'm really looking at picking up a good gaming rig. I don't know if I want it to be a laptop. I don't know if I want it to be a desktop. I've really only just started looking, so I don't really know too much. I noticed the Alienware X51. That's a desktop. It's kind of more supposed to be like a little bit of a competitor to like console sort of gaming. That looked pretty interesting, but that's only the first one that's really caught my eye.
You know, if you want my advice, you want to go with a desktop because that way it's upgradable. That's the thing. Like you can maybe replace the graphics card every few years if you feel like it, or get a new CPU. Whereas if you get a laptop, that's just not an option. And it'll be cheaper too. It won't be portable, but if you want a good gaming machine, then portability is not really what you want. I mean, my roommate has an Alienware MX17. It can run pretty much anything really well, but it has about an hour and a half of battery life, and you could kill a average sized bear with it. It's just that heavy. So, I mean,
it's also got like a really sharp edge on it too.
Yeah.
I would recommend building your own PC. That's my plan.
Dude, I would so undertake that project with you. I would love to. That would be a lot of fun.
See, that's something that I've always been curious about, but it's always sounded a little bit intimidating building like your own PC.
I've done it before.
Like I don't even. Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I was
don't
younger,
even really know what.
Oh no, you can finish. I'll explain afterwards.
Oh, I just don't even really know where to start, to be completely honest. I'm being a career console gamer, and really my biggest, I'm just kind of dipping my toes lately into PC gaming with my Mac. Just got Left 4 Dead 2. Runs like I don't know, diseased, one-legged deer. I don't know. Let's go with that.
That's a euphemism if I ever heard one.
If it's a deer and has one leg, it doesn't move. Am I the only
one slowly dying of disease from the fact that the rest of its limbs are gone. There's just gaping holes there.
Well, it's kind of being dragged along by the bear that's eating it.
Okay. I can paint a picture of that in my head, sadly. It's kind of gruesome, but I actually used to take part in Frankenstein old computers back in like middle school and high school, so I haven't done it in a little while, but it's not that difficult to build your own computer. Most people think it's a huge undertaking, but it's a weekend project, yeah, but it's a fun one.
Yeah, I agree. I've been pricing my own desktop and putting it on the back burner since I've just dropped $1,300 on a MacBook Air. But I'm going to start saving up after that, and I'm planning on building myself my own desktop. For suggestions for you, Lucas, definitely do an Intel processor. AMD, they don't perform.
They're so far behind. It's sad.
Getting a Ivy Bridge i7 processor is going to be the best thing for you, and it's almost to a point now where it's future proof because I don't think they can go any smaller. So you can get a motherboard that supports the 22 nanometer chip, and then just keep upgrading from there on. You won't have to replace any motherboards, and that's my suggestion. So anything else on this topic? You want to? Anyone else?
Well, your guys' suggestions are duly noted.
I would love to
All right.
build a computer as well. We could make it a fun tech-space project someday when we're all out in our office. That'll be our first company retreat is building a computer out in San Francisco a few years down the road.
That'd be sweet. That'd be real sweet.
We're gonna have to
Go ahead.
dig up our own silicon and everything.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay, moving on. Gaming PC is kind of a good transition into Steam sales.
I think Steam has single-handedly restored part of the U.S. economy with these sales because they're just flat out ridiculous. I picked up Portal 2 for $5 on, what was it, Friday? That was the day of that sale, or maybe Saturday. No, it was Friday for sure. And I bought Trine 1 and 2 for $5 yesterday. They have all of the Grand Theft Auto games are on sale for $12 right now. 1 through 4 plus all the 2 expansion packs for 4. So it's ridiculous. I don't know how Steam convinces developers to do these barnstorm sales for every day for a week straight. I mean, you can buy every Valve game ever made for $50 right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have spent, actually though, I haven't spent a ton of money. I think I've spent a grand total of $12, $15, and I bought Left 4 Dead 2, Dear Esther, Trine 2, and I think one other thing. It's slipping my mind at this point, but yeah, I've got a good solid chunk of them, and I haven't spent too much money.
Yeah, it's so many games for so little money.
I've got a PC with a dual-core Pentium processor, so I can't play.
Well, if you're gonna build a gaming PC, even if it's years in the future, now's the time to buy. It's just ridiculous how good these sales are. I feel like I sound like my mother right now. These sales are amazing. We have to go right now and get everything. That's exactly how it feels. It's just so absurd.
I gouged the skanks eyes out to get to the I don't know, sales. I don't know.
That was good. Proud of you. That was quality comedy.
It's Black Friday stuff right there.
Except it's not at all. I don't think I've ever heard of anyone getting beaten up over a Steam sale.
No, skanks.
Oh.
It's only the skanks.
Okay, so other big Steam news is Steam is now on Linux, which is it's going to be on Linux.
Yes, it's an official project for them.
Which is kind of exciting, I have to say.
For all 6 Linux gamers out there.
Well, that's kind of the point, though. They're going to build more Linux gamers. I think there's a lot of people who would prefer to have Ubuntu, but they can't, or they don't want to because they can't game on it. They don't have Steam.
Well, I see a majority of when I saw it posted, half the comments were, I have to dual boot just so I can game right now. I'm an Ubuntu user, but I have a Windows partition specifically for my games, and that's the only reason. So I mean, it saves them, and that was the same way for a lot of people with Macs when they gamed before Steam launched for Mac. Was that I just have to have a boot camp partition. It's a convenience. It's really cool that Valve's helping widen their audience, and Valve is a great company, but they are doing this to make a buck. I mean, that's just a fact. They aren't evil because that's how every company is, but this will earn them not only good faith with customers, but it'll earn them money from, people will buy games on Linux now. And we know from looking at, if you look at the splits for the Humble Indie Bundle, I don't remember how many of them there have been, 5. Like, Linux users always are the ones that, donate the most money.
Well,
So
yeah,
they're generous people.
it's because they didn't spend $600 on their operating system.
True. I got a little extra scratch laying around, but their 3 main goals were putting a fully functional Steam client on Linux, Ubuntu first. I would imagine that involves all Debian-based operating systems then. Genome kernel-based operating systems. I don't know why I said Debian. It's an entirely different distro. Porting Left 4 Dead 2, because they've already successfully ported the original Left 4 Dead as like a tech demo, and then just putting as many Valve titles as they can on Linux after that.
Yeah. By the way, we lost Lucas.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, he'll be back though as soon as his internet comes back. So I suppose, let's quick talk about something mobile while he's gone.
Okay.
Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean on the HD2.
Yeah, I absolutely love the ROM community. Is that Jelly Bean source code has been out for less than a week or just over a week? I don't quite remember. But it's already, and it's alpha. It's not like it's a fully functioning ROM yet, but like it's already running on HTC HD2, which, for those with bad memory, or those who just 2009 was a fuzzy year for them, came out in 2009, ran Windows Mobile 6.5, had a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor. I don't remember the RAM. It might have been like 512 or 756 or something, or 8. It was probably 512, but I mean, like, developers will not give up on this phone. They put Windows Phone 7.5, every other version of Android. They threw Ubuntu on it just because they can, and now they've already put Jelly Bean on it. It's really ridiculous.
I think it's really cool that they're doing it, but why the HD2? I mean, there are so many other phones out there that, like, you could put a Jelly Bean ROM out there that a more widely used phone as well. I don't know why they're clinging on to the HD2, a phone that no one has.
I think developers just love just doing what they shouldn't be able to do. Or, programmers like challenges, and this is one heck of a challenge, or maybe it isn't because they're doing it so quickly. I think it's cool, and I think it's impressive, and I think HTC and Samsung and all these other OEMs need to get in touch with these guys because they do good work and they do it fast.
Yeah, I completely agree on that, Mark, especially with like the extreme delay moving to Ice Cream Sandwich on all these devices.
Yeah.
And has the Galaxy S2 on any carrier gotten Ice Cream Sandwich yet? Like an official Ice Cream Sandwich update?
Yeah, actually, I think most of them. I know my buddy has one, a U.S. Cellular one that he just got the notification.
Oh, nice, impressive.
I think it's been pushed out like slowly, but I'm pretty sure they're all getting it.
I know Sprint. They announced they were going to. They haven't announced when, but they said it's coming. Still.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's taking very long for them to get Ice Cream Sandwich to all these devices. Hopefully the change to Jelly Bean will be a lot shorter.
It should. Jelly Bean is a lot of behind the scenes updates. It's not almost a total redesign of the entire operating system like Ice Cream Sandwich was. So everyone who doesn't own a Nexus device, just cross your fingers now.
Yeah. One thing that I think is interesting, I don't know if I mentioned this on the mobile podcast a couple weeks ago, but what's Samsung going to do with the Galaxy S3 with Jelly Bean and S-Voice? Because S-Voice is just garbage. And voice search is actually pretty good in my use of it. And so are they going to bring it to the Galaxy S3 and remove voice search and make S-Voice the only option? Or are they going to keep them both on? I don't know. Are they going to abandon S-Voice?
Well, it would continue with their trend of crippling Android. So I wouldn't be super shocked.
Hi, Lucas. Welcome back.
Hello. My brother's watching the season finale. My brother's watching the season finale of Breaking Bad for season 4 on Netflix, and that's why it crashed.
Gotcha. Moving back, since you have arrived, do you have anything to add on the Steam on Linux? Or any input whatsoever?
I didn't really have something on that, but I did have a little point that I did kind of remember, just like a side note. Valve is now doing, I don't remember what it's exactly called, but it's a new initiative where they're actually going to have the community approve the games that get submitted onto Steam. It's another really cool initiative that just kind of shows that, I don't know, Valve is really at the cutting edge at every turn.
They're very big on community. If like the Steam Workshop for games is not already proven, but I think like an early-ish implementation of that is already shown in the Steam Summer Sale, where the users get to vote on one of 3 choices on this game will also, or one of these 3 will be on sale tomorrow. You guys pick which one it's going to be. Did we lose him again?
No,
he's not replying.
No, he's nodding.
Okay, I thought you would have something to say to that. Maybe not.
Oh, well, just I was bobbing my head in agreement. But you can't see me, so...
Yeah.
I've got to audibly... Lucas is now bobbing his head.
Third person for the rest of this podcast. I'm sure that'll make things better.
Oh, it always makes things better.
I can narrate it all, too.
Let's not. Let's get the guy from Bastion to narrate it, but not you. No offense.
Okay, so that's kind of another good jumping off point to the FCC photos of a new, slimmer PS3. Lucas, that was your topic. Do you want to discuss it?
Yeah, just briefly. I mean, I really, really hope that there's like a price drop of sorts. Although I don't really think it's the PS3 that needs it. I really think that the Vita is in need of like a desperate like price drop, something that'll incentivize gamers to get on that, because, so I think, regardless of how well the PS3 is doing in America, in the United States, it's really neck and neck everywhere else out in the world. With regards to the Xbox 360. So I think that it might be in their best interest to kind of establish, I don't know, the Vita. But, I'm not going to talk down to a new, slimmer, cheaper PS3. That is, if it is cheaper.
And
what does it sell at right now?
$299.
Yeah, $299.
Which $199 model, just like the 4 gig 360, that would be outstanding, especially for me, because I want a PS3 and I don't want to pay $300 for it.
I'd be really tempted to if it was like $200 to pick one up myself, even.
Especially just for the Blu-ray. That's my big.
Yeah.
I want a Blu-ray player.
Or just playing Journey.
Well, I want it just
something
so I can
else.
Get The Last of Us. That's why I want to buy a PS3, so I can play that when it comes out.
That does look. Oh, and Beyond Two Souls.
Yes. Just because Ellen Page is awesome.
See, actually, and another thing that'd be worth it for you guys, because you guys are a little bit more classic like Xbox gamers, I'd be interested to see your guys' opinions of, I don't know, just like the PlayStation Network, because like with the, addition of like, I don't know, I suppose not like so much additions as it is like the beefing up of PlayStation Plus, it's really become a premium service unto itself. I mean, just being a member, you get access to over a dozen really excellent games, and I don't know, I think that Microsoft could learn something from that.
Oh, as an Xbox gamer, I envy PlayStation Plus because what Sony's doing is so much better for their customers. I mean, look at what Microsoft's done since they've added the Metro interface. Or on Xboxes, they've upped the price $10 per year, and they've added more ads. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it right now because I'll probably start ranting and yelling. It's not really necessary. I mean, that pretty much explains it, is that it's BS and they're screwing over the customers because they don't have a choice, really. I mean, if they have tens of millions of Xbox Live users, gold members, then why in God's name are they charging me so much?
Because they can.
Yeah.
I know. I'm so
even...
starting to like Microsoft, but that's...
I personally, the subscription fee doesn't bother me at all. I mean, it's $60 for a year. That's not bad. I don't know. For what I'm getting, even though I shouldn't have to pay to access a paid subscription in the first place, I don't know. The sheer convenience of having my Xbox be my only media outlet and all there right in one, and I can just have everything. I think that's worth the $60 a year. And
I will
and the
agree
ads
with that.
don't bother me either because the ads aren't really in the way. Because the way that the whole Metro style works on it is the ads are just another tile. And I don't scroll tile to tile anyway. I scroll panes. So I don't even notice the ads. They place them in a way that I don't ever have to highlight them. So I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all. I'll pay the $60.
I guess, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem paying the $60, $10 a month. It's not that big a deal. It's just like in comparison to what PlayStation Plus users get compared to Xbox Live Gold members, it's like it's almost insulting or disgusting. Like they get free games and free content monthly, and we get nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing
Also
extra for being a
discounts.
gold member.
Aside from being...
Also
Well,
discounts for PlayStation Plus.
Microsoft does do that for gold users as well. They have sales for gold only members.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're not as good as Steam sales, so they still seem crappy to me.
The one thing I do have to praise Microsoft on is user interface. I know a lot of people have been bagging on the Metro style, but I really like it. And Sony does not have a way with user experience. They really don't. Everything I've ever used Sony-wise has just been kind of cruddy. It's clunky to use, but that's just
Cumbersome.
me. Yeah. I think this is a great jumping off point. It's kind of going out of the way, but I just noticed that.
I want to interject one thing to this. I agree. I love the Metro design lane, but one thing that's happened since the latest update is now when I go to my Netflix, I can actually just say Xbox and Netflix, but now it goes to a separate page that has the option of play now, rate this, or delete this. And I'm like, what? This is literally the worst user interface thing I've seen in my life. And I have a hard on for user interface. I will say that. I don't know if you want to bleep that out later, but I'm big on that. And I love Metro. I love everything else about it, but it's so irritating to not have it instantly go in, to have to click play twice to get to do what I want.
There's a workaround for that. Go into your quick play and you can just click Netflix from your quick play and it'll open right up. Because that bugged the crap out of me too when I first got the update. But as soon as I've been using the quick play feature right on the front home page, it bypasses that. Because I almost tweeted about it, but I was
thank God.
So here's my big jumping off point. This is like really cool. On my ads for this Uvu call, there's a Nexus 7 ad. So that just feels like a perfect
Spanish. So.
Oh really? No, that's impressive. But
yeah,
I got a Nexus 7 ad right now, so I think you should talk about your Nexus 7 while Lucas dropped out again. He's gone.
Of course. Well, I finally got my Nexus 7 in the mail today. I think it came around like 2:00, and I know because they buzzed my apartment, and I hate the sound of my buzzer. But I ran down the 3 flights of stairs and just like, UBS, I got something for you. Just grabbed it and ran back inside. I was so pumped, and actually I really, really, really like it. I think I'll have a review up by the end of the week, but what I want to try and do is use both of them. Currently I have an iPad 2 as well that I'm going to be giving to my brother for his birthday. It's okay. He doesn't watch this. He will never know. If not, happy early birthday. And then another day of using just the Nexus 7. But so far, I really, really, really like it. It's super lightweight. But it does, I mean, it's plastic and glass, but it doesn't have a cheap feel. It feels really well made. In the back, Matthias Duarte described it as being like a Steve McQueen leather racing glove. That is like exactly what it feels like. It's a really cool feeling in your hand, and it makes a solid grip on it that there's all these little bumps and ridges. I honestly don't quite know what to do with like all this extra screen space, because I have so many extra icons on my front home screen than I do on my phone for like comparison. It's like double. And I think the only thing I don't like is that there still isn't a lot of tablet apps, but I haven't really run into that problem because on a 7-inch screen size, I mean, you can look at sorry to my friends on Facebook if you can see any of their information, but like, I mean, it fits fine. It doesn't look bad at all this way. So, like, dedicated tablet apps don't seem super necessary on a screen this size.
What's your opinion on the 7-inch screen?
I actually used to think that it was a terrible idea for a tablet, but getting this in my hands, and it's only, it's been half a day that I've had it. I really enjoy it. I watched some TV shows on Netflix, and like, it's cool that when something plays in widescreen, it occupies the whole screen instead of my iPad where there's these giant black bars on either side. So I think that's convenient. And Jake, I just lost your video. Jake, all right, I'm just gonna rant. Whatever. Like, reading on it's really easy because just in portrait mode, pages look like an actual page, where on an iPad they just seem kind of big. It's smaller, lighter weight, easier to read from, all that good stuff. So I actually think I'm going to end up liking maybe a 7-inch form factor better than like a 10-inch or the 9.8 or whatever the iPad is, because I don't remember right now. And obviously the thing's no slouch either because it's got the Tegra 3 processor in it. I haven't loaded up Shadowgun on it yet to see how it performs, but I'm sure it performs with aplomb. I mean, no issues whatsoever. And of course, since it runs Jelly Bean, it's super, super fast. The operating system as a whole.
Hey, sorry.
That's actually really interesting because at this point, I'm kind of, I don't know. If I were to, drop money on any single big fancy tech gadget, it would probably be the Nexus 7, and I'm actually really encouraged by what you're saying.
Well, and I think, I'm broke, understand this, so don't take this as like a rich kid saying this doesn't cost that much. I mean, I have $80 in my bank account, I just got a job. But like, this thing it is cheap. I think that's a bad word to say, because it feels and is a premium device, but $200 for a full feature tablet this has the same processor in it that the Asus's top of the line, Android tablet, the Transformer Prime has. So, it's not a slouch. It's a great little device. And I think I'm already in love with it. I'm sure that love's only going to grow as it goes on.
I've been, for those of you who don't know, I am rocking a Zoom that I've had for a year and a half now. I was one of the first orderers of the Zoom when they announced it last year at CES. I actually ordered mine direct from China so I could have it early. And I still I love it. I'm really interested in seeing what Jelly Bean is like on it, because that's going to be the biggest determining factor if I trade this or sell this on eBay or something or Amazon and buy a Nexus 7 with the money I get off of it. Because from everything I've read on it and in my trials with it, it's the best Android tablet ever. And the fact that it's a Nexus device is really promising for it.
And I can, my roommate has a Motorola Zoom, and I think I can say that this is a far more pleasurable user experience than the Zoom is. I really, really, really enjoy it, and I think maybe that comparison will change slightly once the Zoom gets its Jelly Bean update. But it's super smooth. I mean, Project Butter, obviously. This thing feels faster, and, well, I mean, it has newer components, but this feels way faster than my iPad 2 does.
That's, like I said, I'm anxious to see what Jelly Bean brings to the Zoom. I'm still shocked that they're continuing to bring updates to the Zoom. But I don't know. I really want an Nexus 7, and I'm looking forward to reading your review on it and seeing your final opinions of it. Because it's a really exciting device.
Really quick. Personally, I've been on, the opinion that I'm not really sure what I would use a tablet for. And seeing something like the iPad, I mean, it's a really fantastic device, but I can't picture myself spending that much money on it. And then on like the lower end Android ones, I can't really picture myself using those either, because just it's not quite the same experience. The Nexus 7 really looks like that nice that gap bridger that just might be right up my alley to get me interested in picking an Android tablet up myself.
And don't overlook the fact that it's $200 for it's only 8 gigabytes of storage, but and I mean I'll outline this in my review. That doesn't bother me at all, because all of my content consumption is streamed anyhow. All of my music's on Spotify and Google Music. I have Hulu Plus for TV, Netflix for movies. I have Watch ESPN for sports. And I mean, literally the only thing on here right now is the apps themselves and then textbooks. So I don't think I'll run into space problems. Maybe other people will. But, and then again, if you want to get double the storage for 16 gigabytes, it's $50 more, which is pretty much that's nothing really. Between spending $200 and $250 for double the space, it's not a big deal.
All right, new topic. I don't really have a good jumping off point.
Yeah.
A good segue. Let's talk about, Battlefield 4.
Sure.
Why not?
Circle back to
What
gaming.
do we even know, Lucas? What do we even know about this? Because I don't think I know anything besides the fact that they're just like, hey, it's totally gonna be a Battlefield 4 beta in the if you pre-order the new Medal of Honor, which comes out in 2013. So here it is. We could have told you about it at E3, but we're like, nah, let's just throw it at people and see their faces.
Well, for starters, it damn well better have a dinosaur survival mode.
Oh, God. Yeah, why not?
And I was going to say on a serious note, but that actually was serious. On a side note, there's really not much, that we've been told. I expect it's going to use the same Frostbite engine, Frostbite 2. I don't think it's going to be much different, honestly. The actual, cover, it's the exact same image, just with a slightly different color scheme. Well, I hope that's not indicative of the
concept. or its concept or it's thrown together, whatever it is. That
I
can't
hope so,
be.
at least.
I just hope.
In any case.
Oh, I was gonna say I hope that they don't. The whole game isn't a hey, look at Frostbite 2. Look, you can blow up buildings. Yay! Because that's really my.
No, that's what bad company's for.
Well, I don't know. That's what I felt Battlefield 3 playing through like the campaign of it. That's all it was. Hey, check out all these cool things you can do with the new engine. Watch. Hey, look over in the distance. See that building that you just blew up with that rocket? That was really cool. It was an entire mission where you picked up a rocket launcher and shot it at a building to take out an entire floor of a building. That was the mission. And I was like, okay, I get it. It's pretty. I really hope they add some real gameplay functionality to it.
It's going to be weird to say this in defense, and I don't think they should just be automatically given a pass, but Battlefield has never been about the single player, and like they half-assed an effort this time, or with Battlefield 3, with it's like Call of Duty has like ruined the modern war, like modern era combat sort of game storytelling because because the only thing you can talk about is either Russians with nukes or the Chinese with nukes. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to pick from these days. Or you web and then you web a conspiracy into all of that. So like Iran gets to have their time in the sun, evil sun with it too. So like there's not a lot of ground they can break on that storytelling method as a whole. But, I mean, people don't buy Battlefield for the single player. They buy it for the multiplayer. That's why Battlefield 1942 and Battlefield 2 were just these massive successes. That's why it was, whenever Battlefield 2 came out, like 5 years ago, 6 even, maybe. I will Google this, but, that's why they didn't even need to update it for forever because it just sold. Because it was awesome.
And like, quite frankly, I never picked up Battlefield 3. I got into the beta and I really, really enjoyed it. But there wasn't anything that made me say, I really like this is like, I don't know.
2005. Okay, yeah. So it's been a while. That's I can't math because it's late at night.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
7 years.
Technically they put out 2142 before they released Battlefield 3, but I own 2142. I had fun with it, but it was basically an expansion pack with futuristic weapons. I mean, it wasn't a full-featured game at all. But yeah, so 7 years in between 2 and 3 being released.
Well, you do have the bad companies in there.
Yeah, I guess I want to focus on like main, 1942 to maybe 2142. I guess maybe I shouldn't mention that either then. And then Battlefield 3. The bad companies in between, but I think Bad Company was their attempt at trying to tell a story. And it was offbeat and kind of funny in both of them. I think I enjoyed it overall. Obviously, they're not award-winning storylines, but they were good. And then in Battlefield 3, they obviously couldn't go for that quirky, goofy story. They had to go with something serious. And then you just get, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops mashed into one story sort of thing going on. So I expect good things from the multiplayer in Battlefield 4, but I expect nothing of the single-player experience. And maybe that gives them an opportunity to blow me away, but I just don't think DICE will. Because the only good story I've ever seen come out of a DICE game was Mirror's Edge. That's my opinion.
Yeah, my hope is that since we're running towards the end of the lifelines of these consoles, maybe they will focus on storyline because they really can't go anywhere else. I mean, the Frostbite engine is it's awesome, it's cool, and they've done really well with multiplayer. It's very pretty, and so they've done well with multiplayer, and now all they have is story. Like, that's what they need to do. That's all they have left to make the game or the whole franchise itself improve, because they can't really improve anywhere else. They already have great multiplayer, and they already have this beautiful engine. They need story.
Dinosaur survival mode.
I'm not even going to respond to that.
Hey, you can't even say that wouldn't be cool. In any case, I don't know if this would be like a good time. I totally just thought of it, but kind of a big industry bit of news. Vivendi is looking to sell Activision Blizzard.
That's right.
And they're very, very serious about selling it. Whether it gets sold like in a lump sum of shares or just individually, they want to get rid of it. Pretty interesting. I don't really think it has anything to do with Activision or Blizzard, but Vivendi has kind of been in a little bit of, I don't know, trouble.
A financial pickle.
There we go. So I would say that with the whole big budget business of, game making that Activision employs, and to a large extent Blizzard, I think it probably was a smart decision to, look to sell those. In the long run, I think that, I don't know. I've not always been the biggest Activision fan, but I just am hopeful that they'll wise up. I mean, they shut down Free Radical, which is the guys who made Prototype 2. That's such a huge bummer, but I have this hope that they realize what they're doing, like at some point, and they stop it.
Well, I mean, I understand Vivendi's going to buy him, but I kind of wonder how they can be when Blizzard basically prints money as a company. I mean, that World of Warcraft it's still the biggest MMO, and that's also, 7 years old now. And yes, it gets expansion packs and updates and all that, but it's old, and it definitely shows its age in the graphics. But it's like nobody plays any other MMO besides World of Warcraft. You can say you do, but there's not enough to say a group of people, like a large enough group, compares anywhere near, like every other MMO together does not compete with World of Warcraft for revenue stream. It's ridiculous. And then obviously, Diablo 3 printed even more money for them. So, I mean, they're a valuable company, obviously.
Interestingly enough, while League of Legends is not actually an MMO, it did surpass WoW's numbers very recently. Just another interesting little tidbit.
I had a segue to move into something else, but it was kind of ruined. But going back to the whole storyline.
Lucas's fault.
Yeah, Lucas's fault entirely. But going back to the storyline, we had a little bit of an argument earlier about Assassin's Creed and its storyline. So let's talk real quick about an Assassin's Creed movie that is being...
Real quick.
We'll try.
It's basically Michael Fassbender, who you probably have seen him before. He's an actor. He's been in recently, he was Magneto in X-Men First Class. And he was David in Prometheus, and he's been in
HAL 9000.
He's been in a lot of movies. He was in 300, and he was in Shame, which is like a really critically acclaimed indie movie. That if you want to see Michael Fassbender naked, go see Shame.
And see him masturbate.
For all of our lady viewers, which there are none. So
or fellas, if that's your thing.
Or if that's your thing, man. He's a sexy man, I'll say that much.
But yeah, he's an outstanding actor, and he and his production company are co-producing an Assassin's Creed movie, which is, for me, if I were to pick a single game storyline to turn into a movie, it would be Assassin's Creed.
Because it's interesting and it interties so well, and don't let a single word Lucas says from now on change that theory.
Okay, I'm just going to go on and say really quick that just, nobody get your hopes up too high, because we've heard the too good to be true story before. We've heard, David O. Russell planning on doing the Uncharted movies, which that sounds like an awesome idea. We've heard Peter Jackson doing the Halo movies. That didn't happen. We also heard Gore Verbinski doing BioShock movies. That didn't happen. A lot of the really, really the games that you really hold out hope that they can produce a competent movie tie-in, usually don't amount to much. Probably the closest we've got to a big budget one was Prince of Persia by Disney. We all know how that turned out. Completely forgettable. So I'm really, really cautious, I suppose, about this turn of events.
Can I give you some hope? I will agree. I have not held my breath for a video game movie in a long time, because they've all been bad. But, to give you some hope, it's, like we said, it's Michael Fassbender's production company, that's helping to produce the movie that he's going to be starring in as well. But, the thing that got me hopeful was the fact that Ubisoft did it with his company because they can retain full creative control. They passed it around to big studios, and the talks got stalled because studios wanted creative control and they wanted to change things. And Ubisoft's like, this story is, it is ridiculous. It's huge, and it goes through 4 games so far, and it intertwines. There's a whole bunch of subtext to it. So Ubisoft has 100% control about what's going into this movie. And Fassbender's totally cool with that. He's just along to help fund the project and help produce it. And so that's yes, and be an amazing actor in it. But that's where I have hope, is that Ubisoft's getting creative control.
Who is he playing? Do we know yet?
They haven't announced who, whether it's going to be Altair, Desmond, whatever.
He's going to be playing Mario.
Shut up.
He's going to be playing Mario from.
I guess they'll obviously have to be Desmond unless they want to go with a side storyline or something like that, because we know nothing of the script. This is a movie that's still several years off, or a couple years off from release, or even shooting. So we know no details about it. We just know it's only been announced that he's starring and he's producing.
Which I think is outstanding, because he's one of my favorite actors, and the fact that he's a fan of the game, I think, just makes it more of a reality, more chance that it's actually going to come true. I mean, he's one of those, he's just an outstanding actor. He's not Peter Jackson.
And he speaks all those freaking languages, too.
Yeah. Yeah, which would be really, if they were ever to do a sequel to it, moving into Assassin's Creed 2 with Ezio and all the Italian, that would be really cool.
Yeah, he speaks it. If you watched First Class, he spoke what did he else speak? He spoke French, English, German, Spanish, and Italian, if I remember right. All 5.
Yep.
Fluently.
Alien in Prometheus.
Yes, creator Alien and Prometheus too. So, which is really a combination of every old language ever. So, no big deal. He's got the language thing down. So.
Okay, I guess we can talk real quick. Marissa Mayer, new CEO of Yahoo. Maybe we're going to see something decent out of Yahoo coming up soon.
So,
I don't know.
I have, this might sound creepy. I've tried to learn quite a bit about Marissa Mayer. She has a bachelor's degree in computer science from Stanford. She was the first female employee at Google and one of the first employees overall. She was one of the key players in early Google search, and she is hot. She is. Like, that's not supposed to happen. She's super intelligent. She's a computer programmer, and she's drop dead gorgeous. Like, I tweeted about, like, I think Yahoo literally hired her to literally up their sex appeal as a whole company. Well, like, she's been really instrumental in Google's development as a whole, because she does a whole lot with the data-driven stuff. She was big in helping the decision to buy Zagat, which people will debate whether that was a good idea or not. Google had the money for it. Doesn't matter. They own them now. But so, I mean, she's a great CEO candidate. I really want to know her reason for leaving Google at all. And I guess the first thing that comes to mind is that she didn't have any higher up to go, with Sergey taking CEO back. Or no, wait. Did Sergey Brin take CEO back, or did Larry Page?
I think it's Larry Page.
Okay, sorry. Larry Page taking back the CEO position. There was literally nowhere else for her to go upwards in the company. So, I mean, but being offered a CEO position is really cool, but it's at Yahoo, which is it's like rim of web companies. Like, they're not doing well. Well, I guess they beat their projections, for this quarter, but their projections were abysmally low anyhow, so it's not really saying much. I think it's funny that one of the people who really helped develop Google search into what it is today is like no longer going to be allowed to use Google search, because she's going to be working at Yahoo and have to use Yahoo search all the time.
Well, and also she was a big player in Gmail, and
yeah.
I would kill myself if I had to move from Gmail to Yahoo Mail, unless she can work.
I would kill myself if I use anything other than Gmail. It's the best mail service ever, and it's free. It's crazy.
I can't wait to buy Sparrow when I get my MacBook. Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to that, because if you buy a MacBook right now, you get a $100 Mac gift card, which I received in the mail, and my first purchase is going to be Sparrow for Mac. That was a side note, but I really do. I'm excited to see what she has in store for Yahoo, because I mean, Yahoo definitely has a fan base. You're right. They're the rim of web search. They're falling apart, but they still do have a strong fan base that really likes what they do. I just hope she can.
I really think if anyone could turn her around, that she really could. Yeah.
Or she's
brilliant.
Here's a conspiracy plot that I'm just making up right now. That'd be really cool if it happened. The only reason why she signed on as CEO is so she could work out a deal to merge Yahoo and Google together. Boom. I said it. You heard it here first.
Quote it.
I'm going to go out and say, I think she got hired so that she could sabotage them. Counter conspiracy.
Sabotage Google?
No, I'm sorry, Yahoo.
Oh. Okay. Well,
she's a double agent.
Back on. Gotcha. She's an inside.
She's a Trojan horse.
Corporate espionage, man.
How funny would it be if that actually came true, and there are going to be like 7 people who actually heard it here first, who actually took the time to watch this podcast. Which I don't know if you noticed, but our numbers for our very first podcast we did, I think we actually hit 100 downloads, which I have to say.
Really?
It's kind of cool.
Sweet.
And
thanks, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even think my mom downloaded it. I really don't think she did. I think I just told her about what we talked about.
I'm pretty sure my mom didn't. I don't think my mom knows what a podcast is and would break the computer if she tried. So thanks for nothing, Mom. Thanks for nothing. But I just want to go back to Marissa Mayer. She was at Google for 13 years, and she was a really big spokesperson for the company. But so she had major roles in Google Search, Google Images, Google Books, Google Product Search, Google Toolbar, iGoogle, Google News, and Gmail. And she oversaw the layout of Google's homepage, which, take that as you will. There's nothing there, but that's kind of the point. It's super minimalist, which is, what I like that. But,
I it often takes an hour to pull up because there's so much junk going on there.
And then, before she left, she was the vice president of Maps, local and location services. And then before that, she was vice president of search products and user experience. So she's held very high points in the company, and she's been very instrumental to the company. So, I mean, I'm sure Google's very, very upset to see her go. But they'll wish her the best and all that good stuff. So I think it's good for her. I think she can, if anyone can do great things, she'd be one of the best candidates they could get their hands on.
Oh yeah, agreed. Okay, kind of move on. I think this is our last topic.
She's 37? God, she's still so hot. Sorry, I keep drifting back to that. It's just not fair.
Well, I look at Rashida Jones. Rashida Jones is like 36, 34.
You almost made me forget, dude. Oh, that's a good point. What about Jade Raymond, who's the lead on Assassin's Creed for Ubisoft? She's not been in the public eye since the original. What?
Yeah,
I know she was on the first two, but yeah.
I think it was just the first one, I'm pretty sure, because, yeah, like, to be honest, though, I totally don't know where she's been. She recently resurfaced in, like, a small little interview, but I totally, like, am spacing on what she's doing right now.
She is executive and managing director of Ubisoft Toronto as a whole.
Moved up to management.
She did do Assassin's Creed 1 and 2. She was producer on 1 and executive producer on 2.
Oh, okay.
And she's producer on she will be producer on Splinter Cell Blacklist.
What about Aisha Tyler?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's on The Talk, and yet wasn't it the Ubisoft? Didn't she do Ubisoft's E3 conference?
I don't remember. I do know that she was real big with the promotion of Halo 2 back when that came out. She was super involved with that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's really kind of a huge side note.
One more super hot woman that's incredibly intelligent, Natalie Portman, Harvard degree. That's some bullshit.
Emma Watson.
But yeah, back on to whatever. Yes, Emma Watson too. Okay. Maybe we should stop before this just becomes the hot chicks fast chick.
Roseanne Barr.
Oh God. Thank you. That was the combo breaker I think we actually needed.
We'll have to do like a TechSpce top 100 hot list. Intelligent female. Okay, so
chicks with Steve Buscemi's eyes. Just saying.
Yes.
Let's move on to our last topic. At least that I have written down, unless we have come up with anything else since we wrote our list. But future consoles. This is kind of Lucas's domain here. He's been working on an article for all of you wonderful listeners out there on next-gen consoles.
You sexy people, you. Lucas, take it away.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to start off with a general question. What future console are you guys most excited for? Would that be Xbox 720, PlayStation 4,
Don't call it that.
Steam Box, Wii U?
Don't say its name. You know that's not allowed.
Potentially Ouya, I believe, the Android hackable console.
Wow. Okay, we need to talk about that. That's a good point.
Ouya's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
We'll get back to you,
I will
Lucas.
say the one. Yeah. I guess we'll jump into the Ouya, but okay. I like the idea. The only problem is I'm really, really cautious as to whether it'll actually succeed as a product. Okay. So for those who don't know, Ouya is it's being funded on Kickstarter right now. that it's a $99 Android-based home gaming console. It already has some funding from venture capital firms, but they're trying to get as much as extra cash as they can through Kickstarter. I think it's a really interesting idea, and it could do really well because it's a cheap game console. But we know
ridiculously cheap.
Yes, obviously. Android has issues with fragmentation already, and I think Ouya would really, really, really have to commit with keeping the device as current as possible if they want to attract developers to developing games well, not necessarily specifically for Ouya, but Android games meant to be played on a big screen.
The Kickstarter, just as like a little side note, is currently at $5 million.
I just looked it up. You suck. Yeah, it's
as far as my thoughts on Ouya, I mean, I think that it's really, really cool. Another one of those, I think, too good to be true sort of things. Like with the idea of basically it being like I think they want it to be like entirely like free to play, like the sort of stuff that's on there.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, like I'm not exactly sure. Like, I think that they could do with a little bit of clearing up of some of the stuff surrounding the device. Like what sort of specific titles they're looking to have on it. Because I mean, you know, a console is cool and everything.
It's the Play Store
entirely,
it's the games that are on the Play Store currently that are like console quality or console.
Shadowgun, I could easily be seen, you know, playing on a television screen. I mean, that game looks gorgeous on a tablet.
Well, even GTA 3 and Max Payne and Mass Effect, their Infiltrator, all of these real game spin-offs, I mean, those would work great on Ouya. And I think for me the biggest thing is I want to hold the controller. I want to see what that is all about, because if you watch the Kickstarter video, they spend a lot of time talking about the controller.
Most companies do.
Well,
at least spend time. Just look at the Wii U.
Yeah, I think it's the most important part of any console is the way that the way that consumers interact with it. I mean, it's their. I mean, granted, we have Move and our PlayStation Move. We have the Wii's whatever Wiimotes. That's the word. And Kinect is all different methods, but it's still like that's obviously their main focus is because the way you're controlling this device it's the most essential thing to the user experience. I mean, it is above user interface or anything like that. You can have the prettiest looking games on the prettiest looking console with the prettiest looking UI, but if the controller's terrible, no one's going to ever want to buy it.
I think, what they really talked about in the video was how big of a push this is for indie developers, because this is going to be entirely open source. They want it to be the developer's game console, that you're going to be able to play anyone's game that makes the game just easy. And I think that would be so cool, because I mean, even you guys are computer science majors, and I know Nick, he hasn't done too much on the site, but he was in our first mobile podcast. He's a game design major. I would love to get an Ouya and play his games he's created, because I know he's created a couple of them and they're good. I mean, that's going to be so cool. I don't know. I'm excited for that aspect, to get more indie style games out there to the masses. I don't know, that's just me.
You know, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I agree with that 100%. Although I do think that, I don't know, there was some CEO of major game publisher, and say what you will, the game publishers might not be interested in supporting a device like this, but what this guy said had some truth worth to it. And consoles themselves, they cost millions and millions and millions of dollars just to research and, just make everything just right. And I understand that Ouya is a much, more trimmed down console. However, I still think that what we're seeing on Kickstarter and whatever other money that they have lined up, I just think that it's not enough at this point. I mean, it's a smaller budget than most games, period.
Very true. I will add one thing is part of the reason they did the Kickstarter is to show, consumer interest in the product. They plan on going back, after the campaign's over, to say, look, this many people back the product. This is systems we have sold already. So when they go to VCs and other people that, they can get to try and sponsor it or try and throw money at them, they can say that there's genuine consumer interest. People want to get their hands on this device to hopefully further along that process. And I agree with you. It's a really iffy thing. I'm super excited for it. It looks super cool. But I will agree that its percentage chance of getting to market is still low, and it will continue to be low unless they get a really big backer after this Kickstarter campaign.
Notch?
I think Notch would throw money at that, but I don't think Notch has enough money to be able to help fund the kind of money they need. I'm sure he could help. And
no, you would actually be surprised. I think his estimated net worth is his estimated net worth. I think is now at $60 million.
And yeah, I know. And the guys at Mahjong have a ton of money, because I remember the time that Notch gave all of the shareholder revenue and his entire Christmas bonus and spread it to every employee in the company. And their Christmas bonuses were hundreds of thousands of dollars from making this one game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Shall we expand this out?
Yeah, let's expand this out. I mean, it's a new console. It's something that's going to be coming up. You could call it a next-gen console, but it's kind of its own.
Well, I might believe soon.
We're
it's next-gen in the sense that it's something no one's ever done before.
Correct. So that is a good segue to finish this up. Lucas, just talk briefly about your next-gen console article.
Well, basically, I mean, kind of just going off the title, PlayStation 4 versus Xbox 720 versus Steambox. A lot can be, gleaned just from the title of the article. First off, I am not bringing up the Wii U in, this
Don't say its name, man. Come on, we have a rule. We have a rule as a company.
If you like, it's like Beetlejuice. If you say it enough, it might actually come true and show up, and no one.
Yes, I am forgetful. In any case, I think that with its just completely backwards look at online gaming and connectivity, I think it's going to be dead in the water when it arrives. At first, it might make a little bit of a splash. I don't mean exactly in the way that most consoles do. I think it's going to definitely stumble out of the gates. Essentially, I think it's going to completely repeat the 3DS. I think that is just the future.
That is
the console
grim,
that shall not be named is doomed to repeat, which is kind of, crappy. Although, be it, I mean, it might be kind of sad to look at it this way, but in this future of mine, I actually predict Nintendo will become the next Sega and will cease to make hardware. For good or for ill, I mean,
we did touch on that in the mobile podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did throw out, I want to throw it out yet a second time. Seriously, Nintendo, put Pokemon on my phone and my tablet. I would buy several copies just to help you, because I know you need it, because that would make me infinitely happy. My batteries would last, I don't know, a couple hours, because that'd be all I was doing.
Okay,
I think that they would find a lot of success with that. Oh, okay. And then just going off of basically the big three with the PlayStation 4, Xbox 720, and Steambox. I suppose the Xbox 720. I think that's kind of the end game. That is the future of how we interact with media. Essentially one device that does literally like everything, as far as how it applies to gaming, I'm a little bit wary because it seems to be moving away from just like the gamer. And as far as that goes, I'm a little bit sad. However, there's not going to be any shortage of, consoles for gamers, because both the Steambox and PlayStation 4 more than satisfy that. And eventually, I think that when we get to just one device that does everything, Microsoft's going to be, well established in that. And I think at some point we'll all be playing Xbox, 1080s, would it be? Not really, of course.
Not that they'd call the 720 and 1080. Lucas, I just want to say one thing. And I don't mean this to sound, it's constructive criticism. I don't want you to sound like I'm trying to insult you. It's just, you're talking with, your tone seems like you're talking with a lot of certainty with everything you're saying. But, I mean, the fact of the matter is everything is still all huge speculation. I mean, we know next to nothing about the next Xbox, the next PlayStation, and we don't even know, and don't get me wrong, I'm hoping and dreaming, like the Steam box as a concept becomes a product, but we don't even know if that's ever going to exist, let alone be around for the next console generation. So I think it's, just not to confuse viewers, is that
the viewers who think that these are actually announced. Yeah. Of course, actually.
The people who don't know it as well, and it's nothing against you, I'm just saying it's, the tone is you're speaking with a lot of certainty, and it is all speculation. I mean, it has to be. There's almost nothing concrete right now.
Actually, thank you for pointing that out. I kind of lost myself a little bit. I've had this conversation so many times that I do tend to talk that way, and with the assumption that everybody knows that, of course, this is speculation. In the article, I've kind of like highlighted that, as like a big disclaimer. I'm going to talk like this is kind of a thing, like these are all like going to happen, but of course, this is all pretty much baseless. I suppose there's nothing concrete would be a better way of saying that. So really just, it's conversations like this are just in good fun and speculation, but we can always hope. And as far as hope goes, I think we've got a lot to be excited for, with the next generation. If the Steambox and PlayStation 4 come to pass, as far as gamers, we're going to be looking at, some really, really interesting way of interacting, with our games. As far as Xbox 720 is concerned, I don't think it's going to be any slouch either. Although I do think that we're going to see a stronger push towards we've already seen like HBO Go and, just every sports, they're just cornucopia of sports packages that are available on it. You really don't need any other device as far as that's concerned. And that's, that's really convenient and that's really cool. But on gamers, like a much more gamer-centric vision, Steambox and PlayStation 4 look to be kind of the console war, and it looks like the Xbox 720 is kind of almost removing itself from the equation a little bit. While it's still going to be a gaming box, the fact that it does everything, I feel, kind of puts it in a special position where it can't really be touched. And I think that puts them in a really, really strong advantage. However, I don't think that the PlayStation 4 or Steambox have to worry so much. I think that if these live up to the ideas, then I don't know, we're going to see a pretty big boom in gaming in general.
Well, if any game, if every game on the next gen consoles looked like Watch Dogs, I will be happy.
Yeah.
I will be the happiest consumer alive.
Lucas, I want to touch on one thing, and I know you're not really knocking the next Xbox. It's just you're saying it will almost be kind of a league of its own thing. I really don't think there's any reason to think that there won't be a ton of quality games for it, and they won't still focus on it like they have in the past, and PlayStation or Sony obviously would, and then the Steambox obviously being all about games and almost only all about games. There was like one good exclusive last year for Xbox, and that was the newest Gears, and opinions will differ on whether people that consider worthy of being called that. I enjoyed it, but I still think that there's no reason to worry, or no reason to not think that Microsoft won't continue putting out quality first-party and exclusive titles in the same way that they have been, in the same way that Sony has been. I just don't think that there's as big a concern over that.
One thing I've been thinking about recently with this whole Windows Everywhere approach that they're doing, I think it'd be really interesting if Microsoft decided to say, hey, we're already basing Windows Phone off of Windows 8, the common core between that. Why not do that with Xbox? And they're going to build the Xbox.
I think that exactly. I'd be shocked if they didn't. I would be really shocked if they didn't.
But now,
I agree.
All of a sudden, though, you're getting games like World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, all of these games that are kind of PC exclusive. Well, they are PC exclusive, being available
only possible on PC.
Yeah,
exactly. And now they're all of a sudden available on Xbox, which should be
because
huge.
It's super easy to port. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of that. That would be enormous.
As long as they all shared a common core, and like I said, I don't see a single reason why they wouldn't.
Well, and
kind of going on that, I actually that's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the fact that they're making they're going to force developers to make Metro apps, and Metro is kind of like the new place for like developers to develop. That's what I'm predicting the new Xbox is going to be all based off of, like a subset of Windows RT, and then all of these Metro apps that they're forced to make will be ported to Xbox, including PC games, Metro version of PC games, which essentially is just a full screen game.
Kind of going off that's actually like a huge point that goes throughout the article, that we're basically going to be playing PCs in our living room in some form or another. With the Steambox, it's essentially it just is a PC that sits in your living room and plays PC games, just plain and simple. With the PlayStation 4, with Sony's purchase of Gaikai, that's actually a huge deal because essentially they've future-proofed their device. And just as like a really cool little example, I was playing Dirt 3. I was streaming Dirt 3. This is like a console game on my One X. And I was actually playing it.
It's actually like a ridiculously good-looking PC game as well.
And it looked really good on my phone. And just like the idea behind that technology, actually streaming the game, so all of like the actual hardware that's needed to run, the game at such a high quality is actually at like a off-site, and it makes it so you could run it on, of course my phone, and why not on a PlayStation 4. And, experimenting with sort of things like that is also like a really cool future, because you've also got the ability, if I can play Dirt 3 on my One X, why can't I play The Witcher 2 on my PlayStation 4? There's really actually no longer a need to have these kind of smaller PC, centric companies to make a PlayStation, with proprietary, technology, like a port to that, when they can just make the game, make it as good as they can on PC, and then just stream it. That's another really, really interesting, possibility.
Yeah, I think, and that ends the need for backwards compatibility. Because especially if they say, like, I don't know, every single game has got to have, like, a product, like a unique identifier for that copy. Why not just say, hey, you type in this copy of the, this identifier on this specific game and say, hey, we'll give you a download to that game on the PS4. Like, why is that? Why could that be an issue? Or we'll just say, hey, we have this game saved on our servers, now you can stream it because we know you own it and just can't play it on your PS4. I mean, that would be huge.
Kind of interestingly, I think that the future, like right now, we're looking at, the big question is buy used or buy new. The next question after that is going to be physical or digital, and we're already kind of dealing with those two right now. But the third big question I think we're going to be asking is streaming or download. And with, a lot of the media we interact with, that's already like a big question we're having, especially with music. Lately I have only streamed my music. I only use Netflix. Streaming has become kind of a big part of my life, and while it's kind of young with its applications towards gaming, I think that it's really encouraging.
Did you lose him too?
Yeah. All right. I guess that's an ending note.
We'll call it quits there since we lost him.
All right.
So yeah, this has been the TechCast. We'll put a pin on that name. I like it, but we'll make it official later.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been the TechCast. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Jake Enser. You can follow me on Twitter at EnserJ.
I'm Alec Weesey. You can follow me on Twitter as @Alec Weesey. Make it nice and easy for you.
And we're all at TechSpce. And you should definitely follow that one too. A little bit of meta news right before we take off and leave. Stay tuned for a lot of kind of weekly articles. That's going to be a big thing for us that every week you're going to, like, John has really taken a big step in it and with his trend time. And so far his first 2 months have been awesome. I've really enjoyed reading them. And I think that's going to be it's going to be something to definitely look for. And then also we're currently in the process of developing an app, which will be available to start on Android. Blake, one of our writers, he wrote a couple articles at the very early stages of our development, but he is spearheading the app development on that. So stay tuned for some appy goodness.
And
I
promise I will start getting Fuel Band posts up. I apologize. I've been super busy with classes starting and now getting a new job. But now that I have things figured out and I can work my schedule, hopefully I can get one up this week. I know I'm going to be focusing on Nexus 7. I actually did the color run last weekend, so I do want to write about that. Actually, the majority of posts will probably not be on the technical side. It'll just be about the run itself, how fun it was. But that should be coming soon, and I apologize. I know I promised that back when that I would do those on a weekly. So.
Oh, and we're going to get Tech Timeout back into the mix as well. It's been a couple weeks out of that.
Yeah, hopefully.
And Lucas is back. We're signing off. We've both announced who we are. Say who you are real quick and your Twitter handle.
I'm Lucas, and it is Lucas L. Holloway, or it's Is that how like that's a Twitter handle?
No, at symbol. Yes.
You're
at symbol. At Lucas L. Holloway. So follow me because I might say something interesting.
As soon as he figures the whole Twitter thing out, I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Exactly. So
that's it. That's the TechCast. Stay tuned for some cool weekly things, and peace out.
Giveaways? No giveaways.
No giveaways.